the northern border of Georgia, the state line, is shared with North Carolina and Tennessee, maybe a tiny bit of South Carolina too. So what happens in those states usually has an effect on what happens here. At least it does for me, because I pay attention. I've got friends in Tennessee and friends in North Carolina and yada, yada, yada. Well, Tennessee has decided how it's going to respond to this nationwide, if not global, scarcity of lethal injection drugs for death row inmates. You know, because a lot of manufacturers in Europe, where most of these poisons came from, have said, no, sorry, we're not going to do it anymore. We're getting out of the death machinery business. So Tennessee has decided what they're going to do is, that's right, they're going to reactivate Old Sparky, the electric chair. The Republican governor of Tennessee, Bill Haslam, signed a bill into law yesterday that will allow the state to electrocute death row inmates in the event that prisons are unable to obtain the drugs necessary to put them down. You know, without causing a whole lot of a big scene, you know. They have somebody on the death gurney, and sometimes there's a problem of getting the damn tube into their vein, because, you know, a lot of these people are junkies, and oh, Jesus. And once you do get a vein and you put it in, and, you know, if you don't have those good old reliable chemicals that made up the triple cocktail that used to just kill people very simply, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, murderer. He was guilty, wasn't he? Those days are gone. I mean, witness what happened out in, where was it? Was it Arizona? Yeah, I think it was Arizona. So Tennessee says, nah, this is easy to solve. Tennessee lawmakers overwhelmingly passed the electric chair legislation in April. It just blew right by me, with the Senate in Tennessee voting 23-3 to plug them in and spark them up, and the House voted 68-13 to do the same. Now, Tennessee thus becomes the first state to enact a law to reintroduce the electric chair without giving prisoners an option. You know, there are states that allow condemned people to choose. Do you want electrocution? Do you want gas chamber? Do you want lethal injection? Do you want a firing squad? Do you want a bunch of McDonald's to eat? How do you want to die? But no other state to this point, according to the Death Penalty Information Center in D.C., no other state has gone so far as to say, okay, we're going back to Old Sparky, you know. Stinks up the room a little bit, and when the smoke comes out of the top of a person's head and their eyeballs pop out, you know, not very pleasant to watch, but, you know, what has to be done has to be done. Think about the victims. You know, what do these people do to the victims? Are you sure you got the right man? So Tennessee is going to do it. A state senator named Ken Yeager, who was the main sponsor of the electric chair bill, said in a recent interview that he introduced the bill because of what he called a real concern that we could find ourselves in a position that if the chemicals were unavailable to us, that we would not be able to carry out the sentence. Damn. Now, you remember what happened? Oh, no, it was Oklahoma. I'm sorry, not Arizona, Oklahoma. My bad. When the convicted killer, Clayton Lockett, began writhing and clenching his teeth and straining to lift his head off the very comfortable pillow that they put there, after supposedly he'd been rendered unconscious by the first of three drugs in that state, Oklahoma's lethal injection combination. The execution was halted, and Clayton Lockett died of an apparent heart attack 10 minutes later. They said it was a collapsed vein, not the drugs themselves. And in 2009, Ohio abandoned an execution attempt after a guy named Ronell Broom was pricked 18 times with needles, and they couldn't find a vein. So this guy is still alive, remains on death row, And his lawyers have filed a suit to try to stop the state of Ohio from murdering him again. Also in January, an Ohio inmate snorted and gasped during the 26 minutes it took him to die. In January, Oklahoma death row inmate Michael E. Wilson said during his execution, "I feel my whole body burning." Well, that wasn't, the preachers there said, "No, that's not the execution, pal. That's the fiery tongues of hell licking at your ass." So anyway, in Tennessee, it's now official. They will fry these suckers again. They'll just burn them up. Are you sure you got the guy who did it?